What's bonking, guys? Today I am talking about Bleach. So, Bleach is not one of my top 5 favorite anime, but I do like it a lot. So, I actually recorded this video in, May, and I had gotten it all done, and I posted it, and it got copyright struck. So, that's why you haven't seen it until now. I just was too lazy to go through and edit. But I figured, with my lack of ideas, and the fact that I fixed the Attack on Titan one, I figured there's no reason for me to not fix this one, so here it is. Blood War heavy carries, if I'm being honest. Original Bleach is good, but Thousand Year Blood War is just insane. But if I'm being completely honest, if it was not for my friend, I do not believe I would love Bleach as much as I do. I do think it's pretty underrated, though. It's easily the most slept on of the big three. I love One Piece. I do think One Piece is the best of the big three. It's my second favorite anime. But a lot of people meet ride Naruto, and they low-key shit on Bleach. And if I'm being completely honest, without my friend's influence, Bleach and Naruto would probably be equal to me. I like them both. I think they're great. Yeah, that's probably where I'd put it. I'm sorry, Felix. This will probably anger you to hear, but, your influence has definitely helped me like Bleach a lot more. So I figured I'd talk about it. But the gameplay you guys will be seeing is Jump Force, as usual. I'm using the 4 characters from Jump Force. There's actually 6 characters, but the other 2 are DLC, and you can't buy DLC anymore. So those are Grimmjow and Toshiro, so I can't use them, but that's fine. I'm not a huge fan of them anyway. And then you'll also be seeing Bleach Brave Souls, which is a mobile game. So, yeah, that's the gameplay you guys will be seeing in the back. And then I'll try and put clips of the show as well. So, yeah, now getting into it. Basically, Bleach follows the main character. His name is Ichigo Kurosaki. And he starts off as a normal person. Same as you and me, Same as everyone. And he can see ghosts. It doesn't really explain it in the beginning why, but later on we do find out why. At least, yeah, we do find out why later. But in the beginning, we don't really know why, but he can see ghosts. And I don't remember the specifics because it's been like a year since I've seen Bleach, but I know Rukia, which you've probably seen Rukia. I'm using her in the Jump Force gameplay. She walks into his room. I want to say it's because there's a hollow nearby, so she's like scouting out the area, and she's surprised when he sees him. When he sees her, she's like, "Whoa! Why do you see me? I'm a spirit. I'm a soul. You're a normal person. Why can you see me?" And that is for the reasons that will happen later. I won't spoil those. And I don't remember exactly how it happens, but somehow they get outside and Rukia is being attacked by a hollow. It's a pretty low level hollow, obviously, but she needs help. She's kind of wounded, so she stabs Ichigo with her Zanpakuto, or her sword, which I'll explain what Zanpakutos are, and that gives him Soul Reaper powers. So he gets his Zanpakuto, he gets he learns to use his Reiatsu and all that, and he defeats the hollow. So yeah. We then follow, Ichigo. He's protecting Karakura Town and protecting Rukia too, until she gains her strength, and watching over Karakura Town. And obviously he does leave. That's not the only thing he does, but yeah. So as I said, I won't get into spoilers, but he does fight other opponents, some world-ending opponents. And one interesting thing about Ichigo is he actually starts off the series being one of the strongest in terms of raw power. He has a lot of fucking strength, but he doesn't know how to use it. He doesn't know how to tap into it. Some of his powers he doesn't know about yet, and he can't use them yet. Other powers he has, but they'll severely hurt him. They'll take control of him. And other powers just kind of aren't there yet, and he's gonna manifest them. I think I already said that, but yeah. So, he doesn't know how to use a lot, but towards the end, or I guess it's not end, but towards the current, anime, he is probably top 3 in the verse. He's really fucking strong. So, yeah, he has all kinds of powers. Again, I won't get into it. The main thing you need to know now is Soul Reaper. That's what it tells you in the beginning, Soul Reaper powers. And, yeah, so basically Soul Reapers, they use a thing called a Zanpakuto, which is a sword, but it's a spirit sword. And we find out a little bit more about him later, but, in the beginning, Ichigo just manifests his own, which there's a reason for that, but later we find out that Soul Reapers don't do that. They are given, basically, a blank template, and they have to, imprint on it, and that gives them their unique Zanpakuto. But all Zanpakutos look the same until they unlock Shikai, which is when they basically awaken the Zanpakuto, and they have a different form. So each Zanpakuto has its own name, and they all have their own form. Like Ichigo's is Zangetsu, or Rukia's. Actually, I forgot Rukia's. What is hers? I don't remember. Renji's is like Zabimaru, or like Rangiku's is Hinako. I probably shouldn't say Kenpachi's. That's actually very important. But they all have certain names that's unique to them. And basically becoming closer with their sword and learning the name, when they say it, it'll awaken their Shikai. And they all have a different phrase. Like, I want to say Renji's is Roar Zabimaru, if I remember correctly. But, obviously he says it in Japanese. And then, Zabimaru will turn into this, like, segment. Well, actually, no. Well, yeah, it is kind of segmented. Yeah, it is. Like, its blade will transform. So I'll probably put some pictures of what like, Shikai look like. Yeah. And then there's a step further. So I've heard Shikai is actually not even a very common thing. Like, usually, you've got to be, like, a high-seated officer. And then there's Bankai, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. There'll be, like, clips of people, like, saying Bankai, and there'll be, like, some cool shit. And they all have... So a Bankai is then, like, a further development. So sometimes... Oh, I guess one thing I should probably say about Shikai, they're not always swords. Like, what's his name? Ikaku. His is a spear. It's... He puts his sword and his, like, scabbard together, and it creates a long spear. Or, like... what's her... yeah, and his is called, Hozukimaru. And then, what's her name? Soifon, like, hers is called Suzumabachi, and she gets this, like, little, like, finger, like, blade thing. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. I might have a picture of it. So, they're not always swords, but usually they are. And then Bankai gets crazier. Like, Soifon, her Bankai is a fucking rocket launcher. Or, like... Well, yeah. I don't want to spoil too much about Bankai, but they're all different. Or, like... Byakuya's his Senbon Zakura, and then I think the Bankai is Senbon Zakura Kageyoshi. He like loses his sword, and it turns into a bunch of like larger blades. So they all have different have different appearances and different abilities. And then as I kind of alluded to with Senbon Zakura, they all get an extra name. So like it's Zangetsu, but then in Bankai it's Tensa Zangetsu. And I want to say they all have to say the name when they use Bankai. I might be wrong. They might just have to say Bankai. But I don't know. I can't quite remember. But they all then look different. Like Ichigo, he's always in his Shikai. He's the only character we see who doesn't need to awaken his Shikai. It's just Zangetsu, from the moment he unlocks Shikai, Zangetsu stays in the Shikai forever. He never reverts back to the normal sword form that everyone else has. So he's always just carrying around big-ass Zangetsu. And then when he uses Bankai, Zangetsu turns into this, like, thin, normal katana, basically. And it's, it's still the same amount of power, but it's condensed now. And he's faster. But Ichigo gets a different design, which he's the only Bankai I can think of where it changes his appearance. But there might be a few others. I'm not fully sure. And, yeah. So, yeah. There's, like, some other abilities. Like, the first one we see is Mayuri. His Shikai, well, yeah, his Zanpakuto's name is Ashisogi Jizo. And which is actually one of my favorite names. I love the way he says it. Like, I didn't like Mayuri at first. I fucking hated him. But later on, he's pretty cool. He's weird, he's creepy, but he's low-key pretty cool. And so his Shikai it's like a 4-bladed weapon. I don't really know how to describe it. And it has like a baby's face on it. And then his Bankai turns into a giant-ass baby, which is, Ashisogi Jizo. I don't remember the Bankai name because he has like so many Bankais. Like, he changes his Bankai like every fucking arc. Because Mayuri's a mad scientist, so he like experiments on his Zanpakuto. So, it changes. Like, at one point, it's like a baby caterpillar thing. At one point, it's like a baby with nerves on the outside of its body. Like, he's always changing the shit. So, I can't even remember its names. But, yeah. So, they're all different. Yeah. And, I think that's pretty interesting. And basically, Soul Reapers use their Zanpakuto along with Keto spells, which, you don't see Keto spells too often. Like, I don't think Ichigo ever uses one, at least that I can think of. But, like, Rukia uses them. Renji's pretty bad at them, so I don't think he uses them. But, Yeah, so that's how Soul Reapers work. And the main like good guys is Ichigo and his group. You got Orihime, Chad, Uryu, and Renji. Yeah, I would say those are the main ones. And then, excuse me, of course you have Cone. Cone's the goat. You've probably seen him. He's the stuffed lion. And then, there's the actual Soul Society, which is where Soul Reapers come from. Those are souls. They are literally souls. Like, a lot of them you see are like hundreds or thousands of years old. And they are basically trying to defeat Hollows, which Hollows are rogue souls, basically. It's souls that either were like malicious or, somehow hurt and bound to the human world. Like, they couldn't cross over to the Spirit Society, to the Soul Society, or they were attacked by a Hollow and therefore, like, damaging them, corrupting them, if you will. And so basically Soul Reaper's jobs is to use their Zanpakutos to return the souls to the Soul Society. I may have already said that. This is my second take, so I don't quite remember. But the Soul Society, that's where we meet, other Soul Reapers. So the first one we meet is obviously Rukia, but there's a whole 13 the Gautier 13 squad. Gautier 13 something squad. I forget what the name is. But there's like different squads. There's 13 of them. And so we meet them. Like, the head captain is Yamamoto. He's pretty cool. He's really strong. I won't spoil his Bankai, but it is pretty crazy. And there's and then there's the other 12 captains. And then there's more beyond that, but that's all you really need to know now. And so those are the main good guys. If they are actually good or not, I'm not fully sure. That's kind of up to you, I guess. But those are the good side, if you will. Usually Ichigo is siding with them to defeat the other opponents. And yeah, that's the main thing I can think of without going into spoilers. Some of my favorite characters, my personal favorite is Chad. Part of that is because at least one of my friends say I look like him, and I can see it. Unfortunately, I'm not as big as him. Someday I will be, though. So Chad is my favorite. I kind of relate to him. He's like, he's calm, he's quiet, he's peaceful, he just kind of keeps to himself. He likes animals, he'll like talk to animals and shit. So I think that's pretty cool. And yeah, he's just a cool guy. Like, he's really strong. He's really cool. Like, he tanks a fucking steel beam. It like falls on him from like really high up too. Like construction is going on, and I want to say it's that a crane drops it, but it might be that it falls off a building. I don't remember exactly. And it falls on him, and he just tanks the shit. So he's pretty cool. I like him a lot. Some other favorites of mine, I like Kisuke a lot. He's Loki the GOAT. I like Cone. Cone is entertaining. I can't even lie, Rengiku is one of my favorites. Unohana is one of my favorites. Hanataro, I like him a lot. He's low-key clutch. And there were some others that are eluding me at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know. Bleach has some good characters that I enjoy. And, yeah. Oh, Ulquiorra, he's another one of my favorites. I'm sure you guys have probably seen him. He's the edgy guy. He's got like a heart. Well, he's got a hole in his chest, I believe. Yeah. Well, every Hollow has a hole, but he has one. It's usually in their chest. I want to say his is in his chest too. But yeah, he has like dark hair, and I'm using him in Brave Souls. I'm using him and Chad. You guys probably saw that. I'm using like a special skin for each of them. And so that's pretty cool. Oh, another favorite of mine is Pesci, because in Japanese, he is voiced by Takahito Koyasu, which is the same guy who voices Dio. So, of course, I love that. Don Kanonji is my favorite. I like a lot of gag characters. I like the gag characters and the really cool characters, usually. And that goes for everything. Like in JoJo, Dio and Joseph are my favorites, because Joseph's a fucking fool, and Dio's just awesome. So, that's usually, the kind of characters that I like. But, yeah, that's the main thing I could think of for what I wanted to talk about. Definitely 1,000 Year Blood War is great. Original series, Bleach is good. Do not skip it. Watch all of it. Maybe skip the filler, though. Like, the Bount arc is like 40 episodes, I want to say it is. I watched all of it. It was not pleasant. It wasn't bad in the beginning. Like, it was a solid arc. But eventually that shit got hella boring. And, but I stuck with it, because I was like, if I've already made it this far, I may as well finish it. But then I skipped every single filler after that. I was like, fuck it. Except the Zanpakuto, like, Rebellion arc, or whatever it's called. That one was pretty interesting. But yeah, do not watch the filler. Bleach used to be like 41% filler. With Thousand Year Blood War, it's definitely less now, but it's a lot of filler. So yeah, I guess the music I should probably mention. You guys may have heard certain themes like Number One or On the Precipice of Defeat. Those are pretty good songs. And those are the main ones. There's another one I was talking to my friend about, but I can't remember its name. I want to say it's what plays inside of Ichigo's inner world, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, those are the main things I can think of right now. Oh, I guess I should probably mention Aizen too. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been spoiled about Aizen. You know, it was all a part of his plan. If you don't know anything about Aizen, good, keep it that way. Low-key, it's better if you're not spoiled. But if you already know, then I don't even need to talk about it because you already know it. So, yeah. Yeah, that's all I can think of. If anything else comes to mind, as usual, I'll put some text on the screen, or maybe I'll leave a comment, or maybe I'll record another bit. But, yeah, that's Bleach. I hope you guys like it. I hope I did the video justice. And, thank you for watching. And, until my next video.